Committee. We're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Legislator Fagione is going to display a flag for us. Now I'll ask everybody to rise. Join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America,
to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, liberty,
and justice for all.
I step away from the camera when I do the pledge so that everybody's belt's not showing like some of you guys.
Yeah,
Like
I saw that. I noticed that.
Okay,
You're probably in a bathing suit.
Carrie, you want to do roll call, please?
Stiganga?
Here.
Vero?
Here.
Fagione?
Here.
Sierra?
Here.
Sassy?
Here.
Lujan?
Present.
Hines?
Here. Okay, I need a motion for number one, letter A, from the Sheriff's Office, request to accept and appropriate $12,000 in overtime funding from the Governor's Traffic Safety Committee for traffic enforcement. Do I have a motion?
Stiganga.
Kathy, is there a second?
Vero second.
Legislator Vero is the second. KP, are you taking that, or is the sheriff on?
No, it's me.
Okay, the floor is yours.
Well, this is an annual grant, routine in the Governor's Traffic Safety Council. We use it for overtime, targeted details, whether it's cell phone, speeding, not speeding, but cell phone or other things of that nature.
This is a rolling grant every year, about the same amount of money?
Correct. Goes up a little, down a little, depending on the year and depending on activity of the county. But always around that amount.
Right. Okay. Anybody have any questions for the undersheriff? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried, unanimous. Now I need a motion for discussion on the corrections report.
So moved. Stiganga.
Is there a second?
Vero second.
Vera will second it. Thank you. I don't know if Colonel Mealy's on. I know Captain Catletti's on.
Yeah, Captain Kellett is going to make the introduction. Yep.
Okay, Captain, want to highlight the report for us, please?
Yes, sir. Our head count today was 332 at start of business. Our ICE count is 54. Marshals are 78. And our revenue through August 31st is $6,389,564.
Okay. The ICE is very low, isn't it, for our standards?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that no new ones coming in, is that why?
They trickle in and they trickle back out. Right now, there's no ICE operations going on. So they're just sporadic in and sporadic out.
Okay. And the Marshals is holding steady, I think?
The Marshals are holding steady and, continue to feed us clientele.
Okay. How are you doing with COVID? We still clean there?
Still clean, knock on wood. Yes, we are.
All right, great. And the staff is healthy as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions for the captain? I see Chairman Brescia has raised his hand. Chairman, the floor is yours.
Yeah, Lawrence, I'm just, I know everybody's putting the information out about the populations being down throughout the state, but I think we will expect a spike probably as the courts open up progressively more and more, and crime, increases. And what's your thoughts on that? I mean, I presume that our population's at least going to go up to some degree.
Oh, absolutely. We're seeing already the courts are starting to ramp up with the Skype, and they've actually started in-person courts as well over at the county court. So it's slowly opening back up, and we're seeing a slow increase in our population, where I'm sure it will continue to rise for a bit.
Okay. And I know that, some legislators and thoughts might be to knee-jerk to cut staffing or cut overtime, which we're always looking to reduce overtime, which we've already done. But let's not be knee-jerk with that. We're going to be talking about it at budget, and And I certainly say, the safety issues at the jail that we might have by cutting back would be terrible. So I just want to plant that seed before next month's budgetary meetings. Thank you.
I know, Under Sheriff Jones, you have your hand up. I can predict what you're going to say. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I just want to make clear that we've continually morphed to save money any which way we can. There's a significant roll-up coming. Currently, just so you have an idea, currently we have 13 vacancies. 2 are on military, 2 are on 207C, 2 are suspended. 1 is out on workers' comp. 6 officers and 1 sergeant are out of long-term sick paid. 1 officer is long-term half-pay status, and 2 officers are long-term unpaid. So the staffing, given how many are out, is okay. We currently have 6 pods that are closed. Usually we have 2 pods that are closed, but we have 6, and so that's saving us manpower as well. I'm sure you've all seen the letter that went off. Apparently that's the counties together. The Association of Counties drafted some letter that all the counties sent in. We weren't part of any meetings prior to that. This rudimentary policy that if there's low as prisoners, you can get rid of manpower. In my opinion, evidences a lack of research by the counties before they reach that conclusion. Because we have our pods laid out, who's in the pods, and I could run through that as well. We have 300 and something pods. 300 and something prisoners, and we have the pods that are closed. It all comes down to classification. To give you the 30-second rundown, Alpha 1 is trustee classification. Alpha 2 is ICE low and medium low classification. Alpha 3, ICE medium high and high classification. Bravo 2, adult female. Bravo 3, county admissions and protective custody classification. Bravo 4, special housing mental health classification. Charlie 1 and Charlie 3 is general custody classification. Delta 1, disciplinary administrative segregation. Delta 2, close custody classification, maximum pod. Delta 3, COVID-19 quarantine precautionary classification. That's when we bring new prisoners in, we quarantine them for 2 weeks. Delta 4, general custody at risk population, which is a step down from the mental health unit, but is a risk for sexual victimization, elderly, etc. And then medical 1 is a medical needs classification. So we're not going to go lower than that utilization of those pods unless there's no prisoners in one of those classifications. And I don't think the counties, when they wrote that letter, very frankly, they just don't know the inner workings of the jail. And they have to become much better educated to how it works in order to really make a cogent appeal to manpower.
Okay, thanks for that clarification. And as we understand it from members of this committee, there can be no reduced staffing, whether the pods are open or closed. You still have to have the same number of guards. Is that correct?
Well, that's correct. But like I said, we close pods. We don't close them in order to get a CO back. So we don't mothball them, because then you have to go through a process to reopen them. But given our vacancies, we're able to operate the jail with fewer pods because we've condensed everywhere we can condense. And so you're saving manpower a day. So there's 4 additional pods that are closed every day that normally, if the population was back, that would be open. So you're saving 4 bodies per tour.
Okay. Does anybody have any other questions on the corrections report?
Chairman Hine,
Sure, go ahead.
Joel Sierra.
Go ahead, Legislator Sierra.
Under Sheriff, who classifies the inmates in your prison?
There's a classification process dictated by the state, but we have a classifications unit that classifies each prisoner.
So how many people is that unit comprised of?
Larry's going to have to answer that one.
We have 1 per shift.
1 per shift. So you guys classify your prisoners within your own ranks. Is that correct?
We classify the prisoners through an objective point system, and they're reclassified every 90 days to make sure that the classification needs for the inmate hasn't changed.
Is it an outsourced classification, or you classify people within your own staff?
Within our own staff, except for ICE. ICE is classified by ICE and placed in their category.
Gotcha. And how many corrections officers do you have? Total.
As far as, what's the question?
How many corrections officers are working for the sheriff's office now?
Roughly 285, I believe.
285. And how many inmates do you have?
332.
Gotcha. That'll be all for now.
Thank you. Anybody else have any questions with respect to the corrections report? Any legislators not on the committee? All right, thank you very much. We'll move on then to the sheriff's report and a motion for discussion, please.
So move, Stiganga.
Ganga, do I have a second? I'll second that. Okay, KT or Under Sheriff Jones, I should say, do you want to highlight the sheriff's report?
Sort of an ordinary month in the COVID, although we're firing. Things are coming back online. Virtual arraignment should be operational next week. We'll be taking pre-arraignment detainees from the state police. The Chiefs Association, as far as I know, unanimously decided to watch their own prisoners until they can be arraigned. If you hear about that in your local towns.
You want to clarify that for us, please?
So when the courts are closed, the towns and villages had an option. The cities sort of always held their prisoners. So the towns and villages, many of which that don't have appropriate holding facilities, would seek arraignment immediately. And arraignment isn't available 24/7 under the new rules. And so what we did was consent to holding pre-arraignment prisoners in the jail. The state police, we have rules on how it would work. State police has come on board. None of the local PDs have come on board.
So the local judges are still doing their arraignments in their own towns then? Is that what you're telling me?
No, they cannot. They're going to just hold them in their stations, but I guess, however, they're going to hold them until an arraignment court is available. Now, they'll be able to do, as long as we're online, doing virtual arraignments, they'll be able to do it from their station. They can log on. Once virtual arraignment ceases, then they'll have to physically bring them to courts.
And they have an option of giving appearance tickets on the lesser violations, though, right?
I think they pretty much have to. We interpret it as you pretty much have to. What's the point of an arraignment if they're just going to be ROR? And you're empowered to give an appearance ticket. Appearance ticket, the detainee gets released right away. So that's a lot less of a headache for the agency.
Right. Okay. Anything else you want to highlight in the sheriff's report before we open up questions?
No.
Okay. Any legislators on the committee have questions for the undersheriff?
Lujan.
Legislator Lujan, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just wanted to see if we had any updates on the committee that's going to be formed to address the governor's mandate in response to everything that's going on across the country. I've had numerous community organizations that have reached out showing interest to be a part of that. I've mentioned in the past that myself and I'm sure many others would like to be a part of it. As someone who's worked with alternatives to incarceration and crisis intervention training and a number of other programs, I'd love to be a part of that and kind of lend myself to be able to discuss some of the things that we could be doing differently. But again, there's numerous agencies that have shown interest, and just wanted to know where we are on that.
Well, that's a committee that's going to be set up by the county executive. If you remember, that's not really Mr. Chair's committee. That's the county executive that's required.
Yeah, I got to put my hand up.
Go ahead, Undersheriff.
We're a member of that committee, but we declined to play any role in selecting committee members because it's kind of like choosing your own umpires, right? We're the subject of the inquiry, and so we declined to play a role. That's up to the county executive and the other stakeholders.
So I guess, Legislator Lujan, your best bet is to reach out to the county exec's office. I know Legislator Sierra showed an interest in joining on to that committee as well, directly to the county exec.
And so, but there's no updates then right now based on that, on when they're gonna be meeting and like that. I mean, since you're on the committee, you might have some information, and that was essentially what I was getting at more.
Yeah, I don't even know if the committee's set up yet.
All right, thank you.
Anybody else have any questions for the Undersheriff? Okay, hearing none, a motion to adjourn is in order. Thank you very much.
So moved. DeGanga.
Kathy, is there a second? I think I saw Mr. Vero's lips move, so we'll second the motion to adjourn. And this meeting is over. I remind everybody that the opioid committee is meeting at 4:15 today, so you'll hop off this and get on that in about a half hour. Thanks. Have a great day, guys and girls.